Welcome to Nasdaq TradeTalks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq, coming to you live from Hong Kong at SmartCon 2024 by Chainlink. Joining me for this segment, we have Alex Kech. He's CEO of the Global Legal Entity Identifier Foundation, known as GLEIF. We're here to discuss how Web3 can benefit traditional finance and other industries. Alex, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to TradeTalks.
Thank you for having me.
You got it. And tell us about GLEIF. When did you first get involved with the organization, and why is it the work so critical to the financial industry?
So I joined GLEIF in May of this year to replace the retiring CEO. GLEIF is a 10 years old foundation created by the Financial Stability Board after the Lehman Brothers collapse and the 2008 crisis to create a global business registry for identification of companies. When Lehman Brothers collapsed, there was an exposure to more than one legal entity. There was hundreds of legal entities all over the world, and regulators and banks struggled to have a clear view on the exposure they had to the various legal entities because there was no global standards for identifying those entities. So the GLEIF was created for that purpose initially, identification of legal entities to ensure transparency, better risk management, and now it's evolving into payment space, supply chains management, and blockchain as potentially an identifier that can be used across chain for any needs of KYB, when you need to know who you're dealing with on blockchain, when you need to know who issued a token in a verifiable way. And that's the system that we've built, which is a verifiable credential system that leverage the traditional finance system into the blockchain world.
So you've been on the conference circuit for the past couple of weeks, just like a lot of people here at SmartCon. What do you see the future of Web3 being now that you've listened to a number of these conversations?
Yes. So what I see, I was at Cybos last week, which is a very traditional conference. Digital assets is all over the place. Chainlink was there, and they are collaborating with now traditional players like Euroclear, like UBS and other banks to enable traditional finance to move on Web3. So that's definitely a trend that is not going to be stopped. For that to happen, nevertheless, is we need to have an integration layer across chain because we can't live in a tokenization, sets of tokenization islands. Those islands needs to be able to talk to one another for liquidity to be able to flow very freely across those various applications on various blockchains. And that's why it's quite important to have players like Chainlink that enables that interoperability. For that to happen, you also need an identity system that works across chain and is not locked into a specific blockchain. So that's where we can bring some value at GLEIF, is bringing that already used traditional system onto blockchain through the verifiable credential system that we've built.
So we've spoken about some of the ways that Web3 can benefit traditional financial banking systems. Does it transcend to other industries as well? How do you see it being applied not only to financial services but to other industries?
Yes, so one obvious one is everything related to supply chain and trade. So there've been a succession of attempts to use blockchain in that space. They all failed for a very, very simple reasons. They were all platforms locked into a specific blockchain which were not interoperating with other platforms on other blockchain. And if you're a bank or a corporate using a specific blockchain for trade finance and supply chain management, but you cannot talk to your counterpart with another platform, everything stops. So, and that's why those platforms have not been successful and have all closed down progressively. Now if you look at data as a protocol and identity as a protocol rather than a platform play, then you can imagine an integration across chain, a little bit like in the identity space. With my Apple ID, I can connect to multiple applications. Well, the same principle for the LEI with the Legal Entity Identifier. I can connect and identify myself across different platforms. That's the idea here.
And that's the whole point. You don't want to leverage new technology and then still be siloed.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
That's
What's
the whole point of this.
Exactly. And identity should be is a protocol play. It should not be a platform play. Otherwise, it will never work.
What's next for GLEIF?
Next for GLEIF is working with Chainlink and others in integrating the LEI system and the verifiable credential system that we've built on the various blockchain that they support, but also to connect traditional and blockchain and Web3 through that system.
All right, appreciate the insight, Alex. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks, and thanks for joining me from SmartCon. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.